Okay, we're rolling in 3, 2, 1. Hopefully you counted 6. You have Maguire and Sharp, Thorpe, Nebel and Wright. John Opie has one here. You have Lewis and Nebel and Wright. Of these 6 citations on page 3, can you figure out which one is the only direct quote? Let's take a look. Alison DeJong clearly paraphrased information from Maguire and Sharp because there are no quotes. She paraphrased information from Thorpe. Again, there are no quotes. Paraphrased information from Nebel and Wright. There are no quotes. Actually, it's this indented piece here is the only direct quote. And ironically, there are no quotes. That's because whenever you have, and there's a slight error here, whenever you have 5 lines or more of directly quoted information, you have to indent that entire piece. Now, Alison actually did have 5 lines or more of information here, but when I retyped her essay, it shrunk to only 4 lines. But I decided to leave it in its original form, the way it was meant to be. Step 7 is probably the easiest step of them all. It says insert header with paginate and also learn how to properly double space. Your paper, your document, your essay, whatever you want to call it, can have a header and a footer. Just like the human body can have a head at the top, feet at the bottom, so too can your paper. So I'll use this actual document right here as an example. You click on Insert, Header, just use the default, and just go to the top of the piece, and you'll see that your cursor is in the top left corner. You want to change the margin so it's aligned right. You'll type your last name, hit a couple dashes or hyphens, and then we'll insert field page number. You click that, you click off of it, and there it is. So now I have gray 1, and it will do that for each page. Gray 2, gray 3, and gray 4. For whatever reason, there's a small percentage of students who do not know how to properly double space, and if you do not do so correctly, you'll have all sorts of formatting issues. For example, I've seen students where at the end of each line, they'll put their cursor there, and then they'll hit Enter. And then they'll put their cursor there, and they'll hit Enter. And this is their form of double spacing, which is completely incorrect. Before you even start typing your paper, what you want to do is click on Format, Paragraph. You see line spacing, click on double, click OK, and you're good to go. However, if for whatever reason you've already typed your paper with single line spacing, then you'll need to highlight your entire document, then click Format, Paragraph, go to line spacing, click on double, click OK, and then it will double space it for you. Okay, we're almost done. Step 8. Analyze DeJong's introduction and conclusion and explain how she does not overtly copy these paragraphs. Beginning research writers like yourself tend to simply rewrite their introductions into their conclusions with very minor word changes. You must avoid redundancy. So let's take a look at Alison's introduction. She states, long ago the middle of the North American continent was a treeless prairie covered by tall grasses and roaming buffalo. When European settlers came, they called the area the Great American Desert. Today, this desert is covered with fields of wheat, corn, and alfalfa made possible by center pivot irrigation. My grandfather used to sell center pivot systems, and when my family drove to my grandparents' home in Nebraska, we would count how many sprinklers were watering each section of land. At the time, I didn't know that this water was being pumped from something called the Ogallala Aquifer, a huge underground water supply. Throughout the years, this aquifer has made the Great American Desert one of the best farming areas in the world. Unfortunately, the Ogallala Aquifer's future as a valuable resource is in jeopardy unless citizens of the Plain States reduce their water consumption. You see that I highlighted Alison's last sentence. It is her claim, also known as a thesis statement, her topic sentence. Let's take a look now at Alison's conclusion, and you'll notice it does not say in conclusion. What it does say is, in the end, citizens of the Plain States need to change their attitudes about their water consumption and think about the future. They must maintain the Ogallala Aquifer as a sustainable resource. The survival of this amazing underground sponge, as well as the survival of the farms and the cities of the Great American Desert, depends on it. The wording of her conclusion is completely different from her introduction, with the thematic idea retained. So that's it. Hopefully, if you consider these 8 components, you too will be able to create a documented essay, also known as a research paper, with a works cited page and properly use corresponding parenthetical citations. Make sure you watch the second video on Noodle Tools to help you accomplish that task. Good luck.